we're submitting the forum for the culmination of this end of program offer with some talking points that we will send out on a public scale. Because in an effort, after all this conversational and principle delivered discussions, we now need to move it forward with some impetus toward cultural shifts. I think in order to make the world better, we have to do what it takes to do so. And we're all brilliant, courageous, and inspirational people and minds. And we're just delighted to have you all here and contribute in such a fine way. So we'll start with the two that I've named. Alyssa, Spaw, if you can.
But before that, Elton, Ramona is the moderator. So, Miss Moderator, yes.
Well, we can all moderate. We'll all moderate.
Please introduce yourself, and then you can go around the table. Elton likes Alyssa. Alyssa, you're the pretty one, so we will go with you first. So, Ramona, you please introduce us. Yeah.
Let's go.
I think the speakers in our round table today, the subject matter experts are Alyssa and Frankie and Rami and one more.
Harold.
Harold, yes. So if you could introduce yourselves, and then I have 3 questions that we can go through. So after you introduce yourselves, I'll introduce the first question. Alyssa?
Sure. So I really do think Frankie should be starting. He is the mastermind behind the majority of this, but I appreciate the flattery. Thank you very much. I'm really excited to be here. I'm really excited to meet all of you as well. A little bit about me and my background. For the most part, I'm a wellness speaker, but I am also a personal trainer. So I've been doing that for the last 3 to 4 years. The majority of the time I'm working with busy executives and helping them live longer, happier lives with as little as 4 hours a week. So this entire presentation, I essentially pack it all into about 3.5 hours, where I talk about 6 important aspects of health, which really focus in on things like stress, sleep, water intake, nutrition, which I thought was really great. Jerry was bringing this in. Obviously, we also talk about physical activity, and we also talk a little bit about the benefits of things like sauna use. Because of a lot of my background in psychology, I tend to really emphasize both the mental, but also the physical aspects of health. And in today's world, it's increasingly obvious that we are incredibly motivated or essentially moved by what we see. So this book that we're starting to, promote and get out there into the world, Unfit, Unhealthy, Unwell, my contribution to this book was essentially talking about how we use social media for motivation, and specifically the difference between intrinsic motivation and extrinsic motivation. What I want to do is try to help the readers essentially understand the difference between the two, so that they know which one is going to impact their long-term health as opposed to just their short-term health. So if you're interested in learning a little bit more about me, you're more than welcome to visit my website. I can put that in the chat, or however you guys want to do that, or you can connect with me on LinkedIn. It would be really awesome to continue the conversation with many of you as well. So thank you for having me.
Thank you, Alyssa. And now if Rami or anyone would like to go, Frankie?
Frankie, yeah, he coordinated this group.
Okay, Frankie.
And yes.
Thank you. Yes, so I am Frankie Cruz. I'm an independent personal trainer nutrition coach, but with a twist, or two, because the first twist, I'm legally blind.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so usually catches at least one person off guard. Secondly, I also inject a lot of positive psychology into my work. Because as I think most people in the fitness industry know, most people have a general idea of how to take care of themselves. Eat more vegetables, eat less junk food, exercise more. But what's the hard part about that? It's actually going ahead and just doing it and ingraining the habits into you. And a lot of that comes down to psychology and just kind of figuring out how do you tick. But in doing that and observing a lot of people and coaching people, I've seen that there's been a lot of misinformation out there. But it's not like it's malicious or anything. Usually it's information they picked up from someone they know, like, and trust. And that person got their information likewise from someone they also know, like, trust, that was also misinformed. So it's a little bit of a vicious cycle. But that's why I wanted to write a book. And that's why I set out to get a few co-authors together, because I'm not an expert in everything, as much as I would like to think I am. Because I thought if I had a wide range of opinions, we could go ahead and speak a lot more truthfully than if it was just one person proclaiming, I know everything. So that is the basis for Unfit, Unhealthy, and Unwell. And if you want to find out more about that book and about who else is on it, you can check out www.unfitbook.com.
Wow. I can't wait for this book. I mean, Frankie and I have been engaging, and when the book is published, we'll do a big launch at the club. You know, we have a book club, so we'll bring you in and talk about the book. So, Ramona, Rami's next.
Rami? Yeah, Rami.
Hey everybody, Rami Odeh with CoachRami.com, and yeah, I think I'm the elder statesman of the group of three of us. So I've been in the fitness industry for about 30 years. Started as a personal trainer, got my actually I have dual graduate degrees. It's interesting we're talking about this. I have one in psychology, one in exercise science. So I definitely meld the two, like Alyssa and Frankie were talking about. I opened a gym in 1999, grew it over the years. Actually ran it, personal training, small group personal training, ran it for about 20 years. We had thousands of employees. At the same time, I worked part-time in a local hospital in their diabetes education and outpatient weight reduction clinic. So I have a ton of experience with all ranges of humans, from people who've never exercised before to high-level elite ultra marathoners, which is what I do for a hobby. I know now you know I'm totally crazy as well. So I enjoy running for 24 hours at a time for just random, nothing else to do on the weekends kind of thing. So I've written a few books on spirituality and exercise, and I was very excited to get with Frankie on this. I actually sold my gym in 2019. I know I look like I saw the future with COVID coming, but it just so happened that I sold it. And I went full-time into my latest passion, which is motivational speaking, individual coaching, and then corporate wellness coaching. I also do some consulting in the fitness industry. So I work, again, doing the same similar thing that I've done for the last 30 years, but it's me now. So that's why the name is Coach Rami. And love working with all levels of people. My sweet spot is more what Alyssa was talking about, kind of the busy executive or the busy homemaker who just doesn't have time to exercise or can't get their nutrition down. So that's kind of my specialty, and I look forward to hearing more from this group. So great to meet you all.
Thank you,
Very
Rami.
good. Thank you, Rami.
Harold?
All right. All right.
I think Harold goes next.
Harold, you're next.
Could you unmute, please?
Oh, no.
Unmute, Harold. Unmute.
Okay. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. I'm a Harold Caldwell, and I'm one of the ministers here of Antioch Missionary Baptist Church, one of the associate ministers. But I also am a chaplain at our local hospital, and occasionally at the Cherry Hospital. And I get a chance to meet and see people from all levels of mental problems and different things that come their way, be it something that's physically affecting them, or be it something that their families, their backgrounds, and things like that. And so I get a chance, like I said, to really get experience of seeing how people really deal with pain and deal with disappointments and things like that in the hospital. And as I get there, we get a chance to as chaplains to talk to people, and we find out that when we sit only in our churches or in our religious groups, there's so much more out there that that needs to be attended to or needs attention. And so that's one of the things that where my heart lies, and that is in dealing with people who are really in pain, and really in stress situations. Finding out, as you get into religion and faith, you find out that the spirit man is one that really needs a big boost when it comes to health. And because so many times we try to fix our physical side, we're trying to repair this, repair that. Where on the other hand, like I said, our spirit man, or the part that you don't see, the intangibles of us, of our hearts and souls and things, a lot of times that will be the reason why we're going through certain pains and certain disappointments and things like that. So I really have enjoyed this time being, with you all. And the thing is too, I'm retired Air Force also. And in the Air Force, I controlled airplanes similar to air traffic controlling, but we did it from a military point of view. We only controlled military resources, fighters, tankers, helicopters, also other resources from other militaries, other than just the Air Force. We had Army, Marines, and all. And there we get a chance, again, that's where my interest really too came into being with other people, different backgrounds, and all of that. And so, as I began to develop into into the faith, my father was a pastor. My grandfather was a pastor. My son is a youth pastor in Greensboro, and it's just something that I guess it flows in our blood. And people and their pains and the stresses and things that they go through are things that interest us and that draws us. And so we, I won't say enjoy, but we hunger going to be with people. Now, at the hospital here in Goldsboro, things were shut down, or we were shut out. The ministers, the chaplains, and as of last week, we got word that now that the chaplains can come in. We still don't have the freedom to move about like we used to. But the thing about it, what brought it on was that it's more than the patients that are going through stresses. It's the workers, it's the employees, it's the nurses, it's the doctors. And they were the ones who really started asking for some spiritual guidance, or someone who who could come in, who's a minister, or their pastors and people like this, because people are really, these are times when people are really getting stressed out by a lot of different things. Basically, from the COVID, many people are finding out that it's not great being home 24/7 all the time, And so these doctors and nurses that come in and who are dealing with the stress of the one part of the hospital being shut off because of the COVID, and the rest of the part of the hospital, for general populace, it's stressful having to run between that all the time and not knowing, even where your own health is. So I'm just happy to say that I may not be able to contribute to the physical, to the part, to the medicine or medications and things like that. But we sort of more or less lean toward the part of the man or the woman that you don't see. And so we enjoy, me as a chaplain and others of us really enjoy being with people who we can help. Many times, not saying anything, just being there. And some people, we find that many people are helped out and aided in a lot of different ways in that way. So, but I'm glad, I'm happy to be here with you all and to hear all the different, the different conversations and the different things that are coming from Brother Jerry Burt. We both attend the same church, and a lot of things that Jerry were sharing, with us. Firsthand, I've known Jerry for a while since he's been here, and he's a very smart young man, and he's got a lot of things, that he's going to do and can do. But all in all, again, thank you for allowing me to share the round table with you all. And
before we move on to the next question, Renee has just joined us. Renee, could you briefly introduce yourself?
Hello, everyone. I'm Renee Jones-Hudson. With my company is called Fit Mom CEO, and I'm a personal trainer. I also am a veteran, served 21 and a half years in the military, and I am so excited to be here today because I have learned so much from each of the speakers, especially, I don't know why I don't remember her name, but she spoke about her kids.
And Woodbury.
And Woodbury.
Yes, and it's so simple, and Woodbury. But I was especially moved by her story, and the gentleman that spoke about fitness. I also transitioned to a plant-based diet because of an illness, and maybe I'll talk about it another time when we have more time. But I got diagnosed with ulcerative colitis, and that really kind of changed my life. About in 2000 was when I got diagnosed. So I do believe in the power of food and in its organic state. But I thank you for the opportunity to speak today, and I just enjoyed myself here today. Thanks.
Well, I would like to ask this question. We could, go around the room. Could you share with us, information about jobs and business opportunities in the health and wellness field?
Are you asking me?
No, generally, it's an open to all. It's a round table, so anyone can answer. What in your perspective, what types of opportunities are out there? Business or jobs? Businesses or jobs?
I think there's a lot of opportunities, especially now with everything being online. I know personal training market, especially just personal trainer, that market is saturated, but people really come to you based on you, especially as me not having a business like I did, a brick and mortar, but nutritionist, being aligned with chiropractors, just weight loss specialists. Right now I'm taking a course on weight loss for women, but there's a lot of areas that you can branch into and really excel, especially in a saturated market as a personal trainer.
Okay.
I actually agree. Kind of going off of what she said, that was one of the things that I wanted to really make a point of, is we have one of the best opportunities, I think, in history, because we are in a virtual format and we can impact so many people so easily. And the message of health today is just prevailing, because essentially if we can heal ourselves through movement and food, like so many of us are saying in here, we are going to create an incredible machine that's designed to thrive in any situation. So even though in today's world, we're in a world where, we're dealing with shutdowns, we're dealing with illness, we're dealing with very serious diseases, we can start to change that structure and impact even more people. So I just think it's a really great opportunity in today's world.
Thank you.
Yeah, I agree as well. That's a great point, Alyssa. And, I've been on both sides of the coin. I've had my own business. I had a brick and mortar business with 17 trainers that worked for me. And then I switched completely to presenting and going to companies and doing that. And that started in February of 2020, right? So in March, all that went virtual. So I've seen it all. And I have to believe that the pendulum is going to swing back. It's never going to be the same, but there's going to be a hybrid model that I think people want. So I think the virtual is here to stay and we need it. But I think that brick and mortar is going to see a really big comeback for the ones, especially like private personal training or small group personal training. I think that it's going to be really hard for things 30 to 40 people in a class. I think that's going to be tough. But I think that the small groups, we need it. I mean, I don't know about you guys, but I just like, I'm a runner and I love being around my friends. And, we did virtual races and they're just not the same, So I think that that embracing that hybrid model. And I'm actually involved in a franchise that does that as well. They have a great online option for somebody who doesn't want to come to the gym, but they also have great, very safe ways to train people and keep that community. That it's not the same. We've done a great job creating communities online, but it's definitely not the same as, you know, being out there. So I really believe there's going to be a comeback. I just can't wait to go to a concert again, you know, even if there's 60 people there, right? So yeah.
Yeah.
Ramona, thank you so much for your input. I want to take this moment. I'm going to take an executive authority on this. And Claire, this won't be deterred if you don't mind. But America has some of the most brilliant scientists, medical minds in the world. I want to pose this question, which has to do, what are the driving elements of our culture that you believe are the most at risk to our health and continue to our health at this time? And what I mean to say is that I'm concerned that if we found the cure for cancer, politics would keep it from the mainstream of our use, and we would be prevented from actually getting access to those healing elements. It's real. And so I'd like to hear your responses on what we can do, because usually it's money that will overwhelm our position for healing. And and we're brilliant. So I'd like some of your responses about that. Now, this is going to make the global published exercise realm. So tell me. Come on now.
What was your question again?
Oh, good. That's a good response. I am concerned that we have the most brilliant doctors in the world. I'm concerned that if someone were to find the cure for cancer, that politics would keep it from the mainstream of public use, because it's usually money over the science and money over execution of the use for the science. Am I the only one that feels that way? First.
So your question is?
Yeah, I agree with you completely. And I think one of the biggest concerns I have, and I watched this during COVID, is I saw, look, nobody's going to argue that COVID wasn't a terrible thing, right? I'm not saying that when I say this. I'm just going to say that there are bright sides. I'm an optimist. And I immediately looked for the bright side of it. And to me, being who I am, what I devote my life to, the bright side was we're finally going to shine the light on how unhealthy our world is, right? Like, look at the people that are not doing well, and 90% of them are unhealthy, if not more. It's probably going to be 99%. And that didn't happen. It didn't happen because the news never focused on that, right? So people think it's just this, it has nothing to do with, you know, we have no agency in this, and that's so wrong. So that's our job, right? I agree with you totally. Yeah, it's our job is to tell people, and that's all I've done since last March, is tell people, look, it's terrible, but you can make a difference in this.
That's right.
You know, you are not,
I think I agree with Rami, but I also think it's a mindset shift too. A lot of people depend on medicine when our medicine is the food. And I feel like COVID did do a good job for most, because right now everyone is focused on health and wellness. And I feel like in some way COVID did kind of bring to light, you know, you can work out at home, you can maintain your health, you can go and buy the right foods. You know, I saved a lot of money during COVID, you know, on many aspects, but the health aspect of it, I think a lot of people were focused on having to go to the gym, but you know, the outdoors is a big gym space, you know. So I think with the whole, I think the government is going to try to play a part, but that's because of so many people are so dependent too on medicine. Even though there's a small shift in the direction of holistic health, there's still a great number of people that, you know, are in positions where they can't really walk, or, you know, they're immobile for the most part, and they need the medicine because of that. But I really feel like your medicine is food.
Yeah, and I was going to branch off of that a little bit because, you know, in my presentation, one of the things that I tell people is, you know, cancer is probably the number 2 cause of death in our nation today. But somewhere around 90% of cancers are actually preventable. And our diet, our exercise, the way our DNA is responding to our current environment. So I think, like, you know, I think Renea, if I'm saying that wrong, please correct me, but you're saying, you know, this is just a really, really great opportunity for us to focus in on more preventative strategies and create that culture around it instead of this reactive culture where we're focusing so much on medication and prescriptions and the pharmaceutical companies. Eventually, you know, we're not going to have to be in need of those types of things, I think, in the future. That's my hope.
Wow.
When I got diagnosed with ulcerative colitis, like I've always been an athlete, always been active, but I didn't eat right. Like, and I didn't realize how much of an impact at the time. I was 24, I think. Food has, you know, on your body. And it was when the doctor prescribed me a brown paper bag. It was full of medication. And I was like, I'm supposed to take all of this in one day. And I was like, there's got to be another way, because I don't even want to take the one pill that I had to take for birth control. So, I went and I did research. And like Alyssa was saying, it was me changing my diet. That's all I had to do was change my diet. And I didn't eat like a lot of fried foods at the time either, because I'm fairly picky, but my diet was still off. Even though I was active, I looked the part, but my insides were just a mess, which is what caused me to have a flare. And I was hospitalized for a month with ulcerative colitis because he couldn't figure out what it was at first. But changing my diet, because I refused to just be dependent on the medication, which it was a lot easier than taking those pills. So I agree with both Rami and
Okay, very good. Any other responses to that? Because, you know, I notice how doctors, if they have a tendency to treat you, but I mean, they're treating you to continue to come to visit them and not treating you to be completely healed of your condition. But, you know, those are conversations we can have later. But I mean,
So
you're
here's where I come in.
this is all revolutionary, and I understand, but I just brought it up as a point of consequence so that perhaps it might have some impact down the years for our culture.
So here's where I come in. So my grandfather owned a pharmaceutical company, and my grandmother and my grandfather made cough syrup that saved many people that were suffering at the time from influenza, and it was a big problem in India. We were having major problems. And my grandfather provided medicines to the World War II. And so I grew up in a very strong medical family. I worked for Glaxo, and so did Ramona. And most of my career has been on the medical side. So I'd like, and more on the marketing and advertising front. So I just want to bring to the roundtable conversation that it takes years and years and years to bring out a medicine that comes out into the market. And part of this research is because they have to really make sure that the long-term effects and the short-term effects and all the bodily movement. And so that's why the pharmaceutical companies they go crazy when they can actually get FDA to approve anything, which never happens because sometimes it takes generations before anything gets approved. So when they do get an approval, they want to really get into market and, you know, all that good stuff and the bad stuff. So like everything that has a good side and a bad side, we talked about nutrition, we talked about exercise, we talked about, but from a job point of view and from a business point of view, there are so many jobs in the medical side and there's so many jobs in the wellness side. But I think we've come to a day and age where we have to get better skills. So we have to go back to school, have to go back to college, have to get those degrees in order to get the new generation jobs. You're not going to get a job now anymore, even if you want to be a nurse, even if you want to go into the hospital and just push a cart. Everything has to be certified, qualified, even in the wellness category, even nutritionists have to get certified. So let's talk about each of your careers and what all, I know a lot of you did sports medicine. So what did you all have to do to be where you are today? Frankie, you haven't said anything in this roundtable, so go ahead.
Well, that's where something funny comes to play, because I think, because I completely 100% agree with you, but and I think it says something that I didn't need to go to college to get to where I am. All I needed to do was do an online certification program, and that's about it. Because in the personal training industry, it is extremely unregulated, and and people have their own opinions on it, but the fact is that anyone can go and start their own certification, and then anyone can take and go, well, I'm a certified personal trainer now. And so it creates this really weird situation where it can confuse even like a lot of consumers, where they go like, what certifications should like a personal trainer might even have? Like, what are the good ones? Because there's like 1,000 of them out there.
Yeah. Anybody else wants to add? What is the next generation jobs? Where are the jobs? Where's the business? What's going on in the world?
Yeah, I mean, like I said, I think, Frankie makes a good point. In our industry, it's what you don't have to have it, but it certainly makes a huge difference. And I think it's incumbent upon business owners to make that happen. When I ran my gym, we only hired coaches that had 2 years of experience, bachelor's degree, and they had to be certified by the American College of Sports Medicine, which is considered the gold standard of certifications out there. It's an accredited program. But that was something I made a decision as a boss, because I valued education, right? So we had those people. That's what built my business, was that, right? So I didn't have to have a graduate degree, but the fact that I did got me the job at Northside Hospital, which got me hundreds of clients for my gym, right? Because of that. So yeah, and so I think, that I keep going back to the hybrid blended thing. If you're not able to do what we're doing now, in a really good way, and also meet people in person, I don't think you're going to succeed unless you're a behind the room programmer or something, right? Like, you have to have both skills. And I think the skills that are going to be lost are the last generation, which are the in-person skills, right? And those people are going to be really, really well sought after. The example I like to use is, I think, I can't remember who said it in the beginning, but there's so much knowledge out there. Anybody can get knowledge. Anybody can go on Google and answer any question that I could do, right? But there's no wisdom. There's virtually no wisdom. And that's what we need, right? Right, Harold? Like, we need the wisdom. And you don't have to be 107 years old like myself, to do it, right? Like, the stuff really works. But really, it's the wisdom that we're missing. And the people that can bring that, until AI takes over everything, and then we're all just going to sit home. But, anyway, that's my soapbox.
Very good, very good. Okay, all right. Wow. If I had anything to add to that, you guys are the future. We represent an important aspect of our community and culture, those that care and feel deeply about health and continue health and maintaining health through diet, maintaining health through exercise. And also, they heard the phrase, an ounce of prevention is worth a pound of cure. So at the end of the day, doing all the right things, you run the risk of being healthy for a long time, with even 1 in 4 people are living to be 100 years old or thereabouts. So I don't know what that means in the next 10 years, but it's a good place to be to aim. Further of those. So I don't know. I think we don't want to hold you guys over. It's been delightful, and I think we should probably go around the room and have your comments or last says, so that we could finish up and wrap up this year's Health and Wellness Reset.
Okay.
Okay. You want to start, Claire, and I'll wrap?
No, I'm going to get Doreen to say something. Doreen has done a lot of her career and in Alzheimer's. So you just came at the right time. So Doreen, tell us about all the things you've done to get certified and everything.
I can do that. I had a question that I'll come back to for these people related to exercise and Parkinson's, but I've been in this field for about 25 years. I come from an education perspective rather than social work or nursing. And I've worked for the Alzheimer's Association as the Director of Education. I've been the Senior Director of 11 memory care communities. I've also been the Director of an adult day program. And I've done a number of other administrative positions, CEO positions with other not-for-profits. But I'm really drawn to this Alzheimer's and dementia field for a variety of reasons. But one is specifically related to the experience in my family. My mother had 3 strokes and had vascular dementia. I was a caregiver for my father and my father-in-law who had other health issues. And my husband had mild cognitive impairment, which is a potential early stage for Alzheimer's, but not necessarily. But as I sent a note to Nancy, I'm not sure that she saw it. My husband died from a traumatic brain injury as a result of an aneurysm and died literally within seconds of that aneurysm taking place, and it totally destroyed his brain completely. So I work with caregivers who are struggling with whether it's Alzheimer's or FTD or Parkinson's, whatever the form of dementia it might be, trying to help them understand the behaviors that they're seeing, as well as learning new communication techniques, because you can't work and communicate with someone with some form of dementia in the same way you've always spoken to someone. The other piece of it is helping them to understand what's physically happening to the brain. We barely got to touch on that during my session today, but to anticipate what's happening for the future. They're living plan A, but what is their plan B or plan C? If I'm a primary caregiver for my spouse who has, say, Alzheimer's, I have an automobile accident and break a hip, and I end up in the hospital and rehab, who's going to take care of my husband? What is plan B? What is plan C? How do you begin to make decisions about when it's no longer safe for the patient to be home, or no longer safe for the caregiver to care for the person, even though the patient may not quite be ready for placement, but placement is necessary for the caregiver's safety and health. I do a lot of in-service, pre-COVID, I have to say, a lot of in-service and certification training for professional caregivers in nursing homes, assisted living communities, hospitals, adult day programs, that kind of thing. But I also work one-on-one with families from a pre-diagnosis, which is when they're beginning to question what's happening. They see something different, but they don't know what's really going on, all the way through to helping them with placement or in-home care, or talking with them about hospice and what that means for their loved one. This is a disease. Alzheimer's and the other dementias are growing like crazy. Between now and 2050, Alzheimer's alone is going to triple if we don't have a cure. They have one talk about medication. There is one medication that is out there now that is it's either stage 2 or stage 3 of clinical trials. I believe it's stage 3. It's called Adukanumob. And this is the first medication to assist with Alzheimer's disease in the last 25 years, because the other medications that are out there are not medications that slow down the progression of the disease or reverse it or prevent it. And this is a medication that is showing signs of doing one of those 3 things for individuals. But families are struggling. I mean, you heard Anne's story and the horrific experience that family has gone through. Those are the kind of experiences that I hear every time I talk with caregivers, through my support groups, through the counseling that I do, the consulting that I do. Families are struggling from point A to point 0, end of the alphabet. It's a very, very difficult experience for them. And truthfully, we don't have a lot of doctors that are trained in this field. And even though someone has gone to a neurologist, that neurologist may not have a specialty in dementia. It may be other forms of brain issues, and it's not necessarily dementia. And people don't understand the difference between dementia and Alzheimer's. So I'm kind of a, those of you that are in the fitness field, I'm kind of a personal trainer in the Alzheimer's field, working one-on-one with families and trying to educate not only the families, but the professional caregivers, because our doctors and nurses and CNAs are not getting dementia training as they go through their years of preparation before they graduate. And we know that as soon as they walk into an office or walk into a care facility, they're going to be dealing with these diseases on day one, and they're not prepared. They are not prepared. So that's what I do.
Okay.
But my question is, for those of you in the fitness world, have any of you worked with the Parkinson's patients with the boxing side of things? Because there's been a lot of research done and a lot of success with the Parkinson's patients participating in regular boxing activities. Any of you? Well, there's another whole way to build your business, because I can tell you it's successful, it's needed, and if you're looking to expand your business, there's an option for you.
Okay, very good. So let's move around. I want to set for 5:30, but let's try to wrap by 5:45. So keep your comments back by 2 minutes, and just share with us your ending remarks. And wow, what a great day we've had. And I'll wrap it up on my session, but this has been incredible, and you have made it so special. So please share with us whoever's led first.
Sure. I mean, I think that there's a lot of really valuable things that everybody's said on this panel today. And I think that, for us, no matter what age we are, we're still at the forefront of making a change and recognizing what it is that our culture and what our world needs today. So I think that, as long as we can stay connected and we keep spreading messages like the ones that we're spreading, and we keep connecting and networking, I think it's so amazing, what Elizabeth does. No matter what we're going to find, we're going to continue finding value. So I just want to say thank you for allowing us to be a part of this, because it introduces me to even more people that are doing amazing things out there. So wonderful.
Yeah, it has been an incredible day. I'm going to send Frankie the link to the on-demand section, which will be the next 2 days. I'd encourage all of you to find time and look at the videos, because it has really been a fantastic conference. And I think one of the things that the pandemic has taught us is to be grateful. All the things that we've been used to and we've taken things for granted, the pandemic has actually just taken it all away. And even in our careers, and it's making us reinvent ourselves and rethink everything. And so for me, I think that the job and the business market has totally changed. I know, because I'm an event planner and my events all were canceled, and then I had to do everything on Zoom. I did 77 events last year, and I connected with almost 1,000 people. So I have a club, so y'all are all welcome to my club. We meet on the first Monday and the third Monday at 7 p.m. And then we're doing 11 conferences like this one every single month. And my mission and my husband's mission is to promote jobs and business, because when we share, we can do amazing things. So I think Doreen has actually shared a very important thing, is that let's all look at careers in Parkinson's, dementia, and Alzheimer's. That's something I would have never looked at as a career, never thought about it, but she's actually opened my eyes. So there could be these jobs right next to you that you didn't even know and you didn't even know about. And so as we talk to each other, so many things open, so many doors open. So I think that for me, in terms of this roundtable being focused on jobs and business, reinvent yourself, get skills that you didn't have, find things within yourself that you didn't even know that you could do. And yes, stay healthy, be nutritious, be alert. Don't take, other people's opinion. It's your body, it's your thing. So you've got to find what's good for you. That's how I'll wrap up.
Mm-hmm. Okay, everybody's in it. Come on, you got something to say?
Yeah,
Just 2 minutes.
I'll just go real quick. Just to give just a quick snippet on my 30 years of experience coaching is that almost every single person comes to me and wants to know the how. You know, how do I lose weight? How do I get better? How do I get stronger? How do I, look better at the beach? How do I get rid of my diabetes? How do I get rid of blood pressure? And they never focus on the why. And so I'll throw out to you guys that is more important than any how that exists. So I don't even let people talk about the how until we get to their why. And I love it. There's a big realtor in Atlanta that coined this. If it doesn't make you cry, it's not a big enough why, right? Like it's got to be emotional. I love that because it has to be emotional. And if you don't have it, the how's not going to work, right?
No,
so if we can do that, yeah, you've got to have it. So that's my only kind of parting words, and that's what I wanted to kind of get to today. So
very
I really
good.
appreciate you being here. Yep.
Thank you, Rami. Appreciate that too. The why. I'll go with that. Okay. Who's next?
If no one else is willing to go next, then I will. I
Okay.
think a big thing that stood out to me throughout all this, what we've discussed, and throughout the whole year plus that we've been going through this whole pandemic is that adaptability is the #1 thing. Those who are adaptable, those who can learn and grow, those are the ones who will thrive, and those who kind of hunker down and go, no, I want to stay with what's always worked, and I don't want to do anything else that's new. It scares me. Those are kind of the ones that are falling behind. I think it is not a coincidence that some of the biggest gym chains have had to literally file bankruptcy in the past 11 months. So I think whether it's personal or business, it applies everywhere. Adaptability. I think that is the #1 thing that has been ingrained into people now.
Wow.
But
great.
Frankie, to your point, I was doing some research for this panel, and what's interesting is that while the gyms closed, the business of personal coaching increased exponentially. And for years and years and years, we've been talking about certified one-on-one coaching and all that, and nobody really took it seriously. I know I had several coaches, and I ended up never exercising. But the fact of the matter is that the personal coaches are now #1 job, because without a gym, some people will pay you to just go for a walk with them, because they can't do it themselves.
Okay.
So that's another thing.
Who's next? Come on.
Okay, me. I say I really enjoyed everything that everyone said. Even though I was only here for a short period of time, I was on the base over there getting my second COVID inoculation. But based on everything I've seen and everyone I've heard, you're all great innovators. The things that you have and the ideas and things that you have in your heads. If the government would only bring a group like this together to talk to, hash out things, and if they would only be a bipartisan type of a move, it would all work. But the thing is, everything starts somewhere. So if it starts here with you all, that's great. Now what you're getting and what you're getting from each other, take it out and share it. And again, just like I think his name Rami. Rami said, learn the whys. Learn the whys. We all know how to do a lot of stuff, but we don't know why. And so our passion for knowledge and all is great, but we should have more of a passion for wisdom and how to use that knowledge and how to explore these other things and know why we're doing what we're doing. So thank you all for allowing me to join in with you guys.
Very welcome. Thank you, Harold. All right.
Okay, so Ramona, wrap us up, and Elton close us out in prayer.
Okay.
We can't hear you.
Mute. You're mute.
Well, thank you all for sharing your wisdom. Personally, I have stopped going to the gym, and I'm following Kathy Smith's fat burning video, which has given me successful results in the 1980s. So I've gone back in time, And that's how I keep myself fit. But having listened to you all, I'm going to, explore other avenues. I think each one of us has brought something to the table.
Motivation.
Thank you, Elton, for lending us that extra special dimension for us to think about corporate interests and,
Thank
real
you.
interests.
No, thank you. Thank
So
you.
thank you all. Thank you all for this collective wisdom.
Awesome. Awesome. So, are we good?
Yep.
I know there's much more to consider, but let me do this real quick. And because we have another conference coming up on March 25th, I want you to chime in and we'll send you invitations for. But I need to wrap up the Health and Wellness Reset 2021 to tell you about it. Okay, we opened with Dr. John Putalili, Eat to Live. What a great author, told us about diabetes and how we can balance and control it and become, free and clear of diabetes. We had Kevin Kursky, who talked about Life 2.0 and how you probably should take a calcium, a cardiac calcium scan. And then we had Jeremy Baker, who talked about Shaklee and how Shaklee as a product has the science behind the supplements and minerals, so it endorses your using it, the supplement, to get the best benefit from it. And then we have Shelly Plum, who is the author of Break or Bounce, tells us to be flexible, understanding that we can't be so rigid, but open-minded and try to follow through fluidly with things. Then we had Rainey York, who her book, Quantum Leap, shared with us the importance of there is a way to get beyond the simple and reach into the metaphysical in the way in our life and in our understanding of science and healing. And then we had Rick Benzel. He wrote the book Launch It. It tells us how to launch and write our own books. So if you have a book in you that you like to write, then you see Rick about it. And then we talked to Laurel Z. Snyder, who wrote this book called Therapy, talking about therapy and using therapy as a seeing view from the tarot cards. And then we had Kennedy Samuel, who's from India, with Brian D'Souza, and they shared with us the important information about trade and export and their own personal experiences. And then we had Renea Hudson Jones, who's a health fitness woman, and she shared with us about we need to get in better shape. And then we had Doreen Putnam, and she's still with us, and she talked about from Putnam Consulting about Alzheimer's and the importance of being aware and taking proactive steps with that. And then we heard from Ann Woodbury, and Ed had wrote a book called Surviving Myotonic Dystrophy, and what an amazing story, what she's gone through with that particular element. And we heard from Jerry Burt, who's a business mind and talked about businesses and developing business. And then we've heard from Alyssa Spaw talking about health and developing health, and Frankie Cruz talking about his health and the fact that he can't see. Oh, amazing. And then we heard from Ernestine Wooten and Nancy Kaur talking about Nancy's experiences, and Ernestine supporting her having a aneurysm. And we are so delightful. And we've heard from Harold today talking about chaplain work, and Ramona Kar, and I am Elton Brewington, and Claire is we're partners in our endeavors. And I'm praying for all of you to have a great year in health and business and jobs. And so we'll close with this. Oh, Lord gracious, thank you for today. Thank you for your direction, your benefits, and your victories. We thank you for the victories of the day, and we're expecting victories tomorrow and through the rest of the year. Give us inspiration, courage, tenacity, fortitude to endure and overcome. And the last visitors on our Zoom call, bless them, dear Lord, we pray. Thank you. Oh, happy day. Amen.
Amen.
All right. Now, when I opened it this morning, I said great things are going to happen today through you, for you, and with you. And because you're here, they have. We thank you both, me and Claire. We keep working, and we'll keep doing